This podcast episode is brought to you by the Canine Cooperative, an exclusive community of dog owners where you can find me live every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. to talk all things dogs. Find us online at vermontdogboardingandbehavior.com/cooperative. Enjoy the show.
Time again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, nutrition, and wellness of your dog. And brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And we're back with the trainer, Ian Grant. And for the next couple of shows, some topics that were inspired by Ian's most recent trip to the Dog Psychology Center, owned and operated by Cesar Millan, just outside of Los Angeles. So overall, how was the experience this last couple?
I mean, it's great. I love my coworkers out there, and then there's students from all over the world that come in to learn from him for a week for his first workshop, and then another week for the second workshop. And it's just it's fun to learn. You see changes in the dogs that are there. You see changes in the people that are there, which is very cool to think that they can transform who they are in 4 or 5 days just because of this. So it's a wonderful experience.
Pretty astonishing, really.
Yeah.
So our topic this morning is trust and respect. Which comes first? So I guess we should define what trust and respect are as far as our dogs are concerned.
Yeah, I think when it comes to trust, that's kind of their ability to be next to you, be near you. They know what to expect from you, that it's going to be fair. You're not going to be, hurtful. You're not going to be overpowering to them. I think it's also their willingness to want to be with you, too. Right. I think is probably the easiest way to explain it, and to be comfortable around you as well.
Yeah, something that you have to earn, actually, as a dog owner.
Yeah, I mean, it's in everything, right? It's in humans and coworkers and couples and friends, all of it. It's always there.
Right. It's very valuable moving forward with your dog,
yes.
too.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And then respect.
Yeah, respect is, this comes into making sure that they respect our hats and slippers and
yes.
that kind of stuff, that they understand that that's stuff that shouldn't be touched. Also that, we're not grabbing food off the table. We're not being jumped on. We're not being pulled over on the leash. And, we know how to handle different situations. So you can see how they're very different from one another.
But both very important because they kind of work hand in hand.
Yeah. So the $1 million question is, which comes first when meeting a dog?
Is that important?
I think it's super important because when we look at this, I'm not going to lean one way or the other. I think it depends on the dog. Because if we have a nervous or skittish dog in our presence for the first time when we're meeting, there's a good chance that we're probably getting a valuable amount of respect, but they don't trust us. Their tail's tucked, right? Does this make sense? That they're not going to want to be near us. They don't know who we are, what we're about, how we're going to move. And so they can be very, very untrustworthy of us, meaning that they don't want to be near us because they don't know anything about us.
Yeah, and not because they think they're going to be harmed or anything.
Right. Just, hey, I don't know who you are. Why? Yeah. I'm not going to, crawl into your pocket and snuggle up and have popcorn and watch movies.
Right. So how do you earn that?
Well, this is just like, like we were just saying, it takes time. And we also need to show that dog that there's routine and structure. We need to show that fearful dog that this is what we're going to do every day at this time, so they know exactly what to expect. So the more you can stick to a routine with a fearful dog or one that doesn't trust you, it's going to help your relationship immensely. But if you keep changing it every day, best of luck.
Yeah. Of course, that would happen even if you didn't have a skittish dog. If you had just a quote-unquote normal dog, whatever that is, that if you're not consistent and you do things differently, then they're going to be reacting the same way.
Always guessing.
Yeah.
Always guessing. And so now let's say we run into a dog that's super playful, super social, but all they want to do is jump all over you. So they trust us, but they don't respect.
They don't respect our space or what we're trying to teach them.
Exactly. So this is why a lot of times when you hear people say which comes first in the dog training world, trust or respect, it depends on the dog.
Right.
Because if you have this 100-pound Rottweiler that's just wants to lick your face and jumping all over you, well, we definitely have trust, but we have zero respect going on. So then we need to teach, okay, this is my personal space. You're not allowed to just invade it whenever you want to. I'm going to have to invite you into my personal space. So then respect has to be taught same way through structure so the dog knows what to expect over time.
Yeah. So is the trust actually really have to come first?
No. See, this is the thing.
That's it. You would think that if they don't trust you, then they're not going to respect you. But the respect actually has to come first then.
But it all depends on the dog.
It all depends on the dog.
Right? Because the dog that's scared or nervous of you probably respects your space. They're not going to come barreling into it, but they don't quite trust you yet.
Yeah, so when you've got a dog, whether purchasing or adopting a new dog, you have to kind of, how do you gear that in? That's really tough.
It is. So that's why it's important for us to take a step back and go, what personality of a dog do I have right here in front of me right now? That's what I have to work with. Not going in, I'm going to teach this thing trust, right off. You're going to overpower a lot of dogs.
You have to mold the clay first.
You do. Yes.
Look at that. I'm learning more again.
Number 301. You need to learn something else.
I finally learned something new. Back with our question from the doggy bag in just a moment here on Talking Dogs.
I've been studying dog behavior for 17 years, and this is the busiest I've ever been. A lot of people ask me where my clients get their amazing results, and I'm happy to say that they work with me directly in the Canine Cooperative. If you want to learn more about the Canine Cooperative, get the same results they are getting, and work directly with me, go to VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com/cooperative. I will also put a link in the show notes. Now, back to the show.
Back with Talking Dogs with Ian Grant from Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive High Park. To find out more about his facility and programs, you can go to his website, which is VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com. Check out our podcast, too, while you're at it. The question this morning, Ian, is what's the best way to introduce a new leash or collar to my dog? Now, are you talking about new leash? Are you talking about leash for the first time, or
maybe you need a new leash for Tika, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So explain.
Yeah. Here's the thing: when dogs are born, for the first 15 days of their life, their nose is open, but they're blind and they're deaf. So the way they find and try to figure out the world is through their nose. The best way we can introduce anything new to them is through scent. So we have to present it to them. So I'm going to hold it out. I'm not going to just take this. I'm going to use a collar, for example. I'm not just going to take this collar, walk over to my dog that's brand new to them, and there's a new scent to them. And then when they catch that scent, they're going to go, whoa, what is this? This is brand new to me. And then we just snap it onto our dog. We don't even give them a chance to look at it or sniff it.
Investigate it or anything.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we have to respect the dog for who they are by letting them sniff it first. When it comes to people, let's say you're going to meet somebody for the first time, you see them from a distance. Well, that's our eyes first, and then we say our hellos, so then our ears, and then we may shake hands, so then there's touch. But for dogs, we have to look at this from a nose, eyes, ears perspective, meaning everything comes from the nose first.
That's how they learn everything.
That's how they learn, yes.
Yeah. And, of course, same probably goes for the leash as well, then.
You got it. Yeah. Everything, whether you want to put a jacket on them or boots or whatever you want to do.
Now, what if they've already had one leash and you're giving them another leash? If you're changing leashes, does that make a difference?
If it's a brand new leach, I still want to give them the opportunity to sniff it.
Same with the new collar.
Yes.
So you don't just slap a collar right on there. You they got to just find out about it again.
Yep.
All right, check that off my list of new learning things I've learned in this program. If you have a question for Ian, you can email him directly to info@VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com. Next week, the 5 body motions for dogs and their importance. All right. We'll sniff on that one next week. All right, we'll investigate. Here on Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland LaJoy, and we are Talking Dogs.